All right, today I got a special treat for you. It's Sunday. This is when I do all my favorite cooking. We're going to be doing some steaks. Be cooking up some good ribeyes. We're going to show you how to sear. I'll show you how to do some convection cooking. So let me take you over here to the barbecuer. Very important step in doing this type of cooking technique. What you need is a really good barbecuer. Something that has multiple grills. This one has 5. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One thing you want to make sure is you don't use one of these inexpensive barbecuers that we have over here. That only has 1 burner. That will not do the type of convection cooking that we're going to be doing with this barbecuer. So let me take you inside. I'm going to show you how to marinate up the meat. You want to start with a good cut, probably a 2-inch thick cut. Good solid ribeye. I've got 3 ribeyes that we're going to be cooking. I think I spent $25 at the local grocery store for 3 steaks. To do it this way, you need to use a good quality cut. So take you inside and show you how to marinate it up. All right, we're going to start with a couple good ribeye cuts. Right here we have a 2-inch thick ribeye. Spent $25 just on these 3 pieces of meat. Very important step to make sure that you have a good quality cut. Okay, just go with a ribeye. We're going to be using some grilling spray. We're going to use this to put on the grill so that the steaks do not stick. This is a very important part too. It helps with the searing process. We're going to also talk about our rub. Now our rub's kind of unique. We're going to be using a mesquite rub, and we're going to be using the honey to get kind of the caramelizing on the outside of the steak. I'll show you how to make this. Then we're going to let the steak marinate for about 45 minutes with this Steakhouse Marinade by A1. Then we will also use 3 different shakers. Now these are grinders. I call them shaker grinders. We've got a Steakhouse grinder, black peppercorn, and a sea salt. Okay? And then we're going to also be using the Montreal grilling mates. And then we will marinate everything in this bucket. And we'll let this sit in the fridge for about 45 minutes. All right, so we're going to start by just opening the steaks. This is our first step. What we're going to do from here is we're just going to take the steaks. Now it's a good idea to rinse these. So I'm going to take them over to the water and I'm going to rinse them off first. Put them in the pan or in the marinating jug or whatever you want to call it. Then I'm going to take my my grinders. I'm just going to grind that in there. All these different seasonings. I usually use the container to do it in. It's just less messy. Okay. And then I'll flip them. And I'll do the other side. Now the thing about steak and any kind of meat, you always want to make sure that you season before, during, and after. I learned that from Emeril Lagasse. You always want to make sure that you have a good seasoning all the way through the meat. Okay? So now we've seasoned the meat. I'm going to just tenderize it, and this will allow the marinade to get inside the meat. Okay? Important to tenderize both sides. All you gotta just use a little knife. You can use an injector too, but that's not that important. And then we'll just dump on our marinade. Should have probably had this already opened. Don't want that in there. So we'll just marinate our meat. And we're gonna flip it. This will give us that real nice carameling edge. But we're also gonna put honey on it right before we put it in the grill. Okay, and then we're just going to brush this on, and we're going to use this entire jug on these 3 steaks. All right, my special secret. This is how you get really good caramel edge on it. You want to use honey, just standard honey. And what you're going to do, it takes a minute to get it out. Just put it right over the top. Okay, and this is after I've already put the marinade on. And this just kind of helps lock in that flavor. Okay, and then we're going to flip it over. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. This gives me my special unique flavor that nobody knows until today. Okay. This gives it that sweet flavor along with the tanginess from all of the spices and marinades. Now, you'll notice that when you put the honey on, it just wants to rest on there. So what I'm going to do now is take the rest of my marinade and put that over the top. Okay, and then I'm just going to let this sit in the fridge for about 45 minutes, a minimum of 45 minutes. You can do it longer, but at least 45 minutes. So then we'll come back after this is done marinating. Okay, here we go. We're just going to put this in the fridge. All right, this has been in the fridge for about 35 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my steaks and flip them over. And I'm going to marinate the top sides. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my brush and just kind of brush that on top. Now I do have the honey in there, and that will help soak into the meat. And then I will let this sit back in the fridge for about probably another 35 minutes. I've got some time today, so, but you don't have to flip it and marinate both sides, but for today's video I will. I'm just put that back in the fridge, and we'll come back when that's done. All right, our first steps, we want to turn on all 5 burners. We also have another burner here that's in the back. We're not going to be using that one. That one's for this top area. But we're just going to turn on all 5 burners on high and let that sit till it gets to probably around 600 degrees. Okay? And we'll come back and put some grill master on. All right, we're back up to about 600 degrees. Right where we want to be. Now it is a little hot, but you definitely want it warm. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do now, take our steaks, and remember what I said, we're going to put them on this side and cut that burner. I'm going to take the steaks, and you want to put them all in the same angle, like that. Then you want to cut these 2 burners off. Leave these ones on. Leave these 3 burners on. Close it down. Come back in exactly 4 minutes and flip it. Okay, it's been exactly 4 minutes. I'm going to stop my timer. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this off. So I'm going to take my steak. I'm going to rotate it 45 degrees. Okay, now I'm going to turn these burners off. I'm turning those ones back on. That I used earlier, and I'm going to season the top with my mop. This gives me that nice carameling edge. Alright. Then we're going to take our seasonings. Put our steakhouse on. And our peppercorn. Remember, seasoning during, middle, end. That was a good idea to do it that way. And then our salt. We'll close that down. We'll set the timer for 4 minutes. And then we'll come back. Okay, now that side's been done for 4 minutes. Then we are going to take, I'm going to use a spatula, kind of break them loose, so that they don't tear. Then I'm going to rotate them back to this side. Okay. Then I'm going to turn this grill off. And then turn these ones back on. Okay. Season them. Alright, that's done. Now what we're going to do, we're going to do this step a little bit different. Okay, I'm going to break it loose. Going to take, and I'm going to test my meat. Now, none of my kids or wife like anything pink at all. I like it medium rare. My family doesn't. Okay, so I will check my meat, see what it looks like, All you have to do is just cut just a little line in it. See if it's still got pink. And if it does, I'll do another 5 minutes. A total cook time of 20 minutes. Okay? Now I will cook it just... Now this would be good. This would be medium rare for most people. Okay? We just flipped them one more time. I'm going to pull them off. You see what they look like. And this is what we have. Nice, good steaks. Take them over and do a taste test. Alright, I've cooked them about 15 minutes on the grill. I'll show you what they look like on the inside. We say we don't like them medium well. Okay. I like mine rare, but I cooked all these ones medium. There's no pink. And they're still real soft and tender. So hopefully you liked the video. Enjoy!